When Monsters Inc. came out in 2001, everyone loved it. We laughed, we cried, and it is one of Pixar's most beloved films, and it now has a franchise. And when it was announced that Pixar was doing its first ever prequel film, people everywhere went crazy. Prequels are incredibly difficult to pull off because it's difficult to find a sense of suspense and enjoyment because the audience knows where the characters end up, as well as a lot of filmmakers filling these prequels with so many Easter eggs as if to say, ooh, look at this, you've seen this before. But whereas a lot of prequels fall flat, Monsters University shines in the spotlight as one of the best prequels of our time. Hey there, it's me, the average critic, and this is Monsters University. How to do a prequel. So let's start with a huge change in this film's narrative, which is the film's lead story character is swapped from Sully to Mike. Now both of these films are about Mike and Sully's relationship, but you can easily see how the first film is much more about Sully. Sully is the one who has the emotional goodbye to Boo, and Sully is the one who drives the story forward and learns the message of the movie. And on viewing its prequel for the first time, we watch this film from Mike's perspective. Also, can we all acknowledge and appreciate that this film gave us a chance to see how adorable little Mike Wazowski was? He's so cute! But at first you do think that Mike can't carry his own movie, let alone a prequel, but Mike does so with flying colours. I love the change in perspective in this movie as it allows for a more personal and down-to-earth story of Mike trying to prove himself. The first film was a grand adventure of trying to get Boo home with large set pieces. Its prequel is more intimate and tells a much more grounded story of characters, heart, and genuine real-life messages. That doesn't mean Sully is left in the background. Similar to the first film, Sully provides the same thing Mike provided in the first movie, which was incredible humour, a well-thought, in-depth character, and a relationship with Mike to drive the film in perspective. Mike and Sully are two very different characters, neither are the same, which keeps their relationship interesting. They don't get on because they are the same, they get on because they are so different. This allows for some great dialogue of perspective. Like in the first film, Mike and Sully are constantly questioning one another, which allows free space for natural dialogue, great humour, and honest reactions. If they both agreed with each other on everything, both films would be incredibly boring. They say that opposites attract, and I think for a good buddy friendship movie, that certainly complies. Let's not forget about other characters as well. Randall shows up in this film and is a great support as we ultimately know where his character turns up. I love that he's Mike's roommate, we learn where the eye glare comes from, and we even get the classic nod to
"It's the winds of change."
Randall, or Randy as he's known in this film, could have easily been brought forward, but you can tell the animators didn't want to focus on him. He's had his story in the first movie, he's not distracting, and he's not constantly giving nods to the audience. He's in the movie enough to not become a total Easter egg. The first movie had a few supporting cast members as well that were all awesome, but I think the prequel overpasses the original in its supporting cast particularly, because of its setting. Being set in a university, this allowed for way more of a supporting cast that takes a lot of us back to our university days. Nathan Fillion is great as Johnny Worthington, as that jock-like leader of the cool kids, and Sean Hayes as Don Carlton in Ooze Macappa offers some of the most funniest lines ever. Also, can we all agree that this film gave us the most hilarious joke in any Pixar movie?
Have fun, kids! I'll just be here listening to my tunes.
This film's supporting cast is great. Everyone shines through, there's no annoying characters, everything feels natural, and in a movie where every character basically has a gimmick of who they are, it's easy to see how this film could have had one-dimensional characters. I grew up in the late 90s when high school and coming-of-age movies were hot in the market. This film needs a strong supporting cast to make this film feel lived in. Monsters University looks great and feels real despite them only ever going off campus once. The world doesn't feel small at all. High school movies are kind of a dying breed as they've kind of had their day, but it's great to see it in a small comeback in this movie. I've got a huge love for coming-of-age movies, and the setting of this film is so great, as despite this film not having a huge grand adventure-like setting like other animated films in order to keep things from getting boring, Monsters University trusts that its characters are interesting enough for the audience to care about. The story is clear, the motivations are understandable, and the messages in this film are fantastic for kids and especially for adults. Because of the setting and the story, this allows for some of the funniest jokes in any Pixar movie. Once again, we have great actors voicing these characters. Billy Crystal and John Goodman are hilarious as Mike and Sully once again, and their comedic dynamic is one of the funniest aspects of the movie. But the cast doesn't stop there, with actors like Peter Sohn, Sean Hayes, Dave Foley, Julia Sweeney, Charlie Day, and Helen Mirren. This cast is one of the funniest and most talented. I spoke a lot in my review of the first movie about it being one of the funniest Pixar movies, and its prequel doesn't stop there. Monsters University constantly keep things fresh and funny, with witty one-liners, physical comedy, and a great sum of characters that never make this film be boring. Animation is always pretty to look at, especially when it comes to Pixar. When your film is as funny as this, it means you are always engrossed into the film. Even though I've watched this film many a times, I love sitting down and watching it. Some films I like to multitask and do other things while watching films, but Monsters University is just so funny, I never want to do anything else. Now, with any good film that is funny, it needs heart and a deep, meaningful message. And despite the two films that came before this, Pixar needed to redeem themselves in that department. And they 100% did. The message in this film is so unique and so special, and once again makes Pixar the standout of not just being a kids movie, as the message Mike learns is so mature, and I do think adults are going to appreciate this film a lot more than kids. Sure, kids are going to love this movie because it's hilarious and it's got great animation, but adults are going to adore this film for its themes and messages. In a world where animated films tend to be you can be anything you want to be, this film flips on its head in such a mature and positive way. Mike learning he's trying to be something he's not about being scary is incredibly unique and offers a different alternative most viewers aren't used to. Once again, I think as adults we understand this message more than anyone. I for one know plenty of people, myself included, had to rethink a career option because there are some things in life we just aren't good at or cut out for. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the world, and that being able to find a new dream, a new job, a new way to enjoy your life is something you enjoy. When watching the film, you almost can't help but think this message seems a little negative or perhaps harmful to young viewers, but I personally feel this is where Pixar's films shine in its theme department, having realistic and groundbreaking messages that can be a hard pill to swallow, and that it's okay to have these experiences in your normal life. Monsters University offers one of the most refreshing and thought-provoking experiences that easily passes the original and other Pixar movies. Its franchise still is a staple on how to create good character relationships, interesting stories, and great messages. And so to create a prequel this good just shows how incredible the filmmakers at Pixar are. And so after all that, this gets my professional rating of 10 out of 10. And I didn't realize how much I love this film. It gets my personal rating of 10 out of 10 as well. Perfect score from both ends. So thank you so much for joining me. Please tell me your thoughts on Monsters University in the comment section below, and why not tell me some of your favourite prequel movies. But tune in next week when we're going to be talking about Inside Out. That film is going to be so much fun to talk about. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that notification button so you don't miss the next video, and if you're interested, check out one of my other videos right here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.